I get so sick and tired of people in this country and in this city that believes that the only thing that you can offer black people and poor people is jails, incarceration, and police officers. Dr. King said this right here in Chicago, the National Conference on New Politics. What did he say? He said, militarism is a sickness. I am trying to eradicate the sickness from this city and from this country. Jails and incarceration and law enforcement is a sickness that has not led to safe communities. I'm going to work hard every single day to protect the people who are caught up in violence in this city. Guess why? You want to know why? Because the vast majority of them look like me.
All right, here we go.
It's official. President Trump has signed the order.
I'm signing a presidential memorandum to establish the Memphis Taskforce
for the National Guard to head to Memphis, a move he promises will bring crime down.
This video is titled Black Memphis Mayor Paul Young Betrays Dr. King and Black America. Just look at Black Memphis Mayor Paul Young with Tennessee Governor Bill Lee supporting the Donald Trump Memphis Police Task Force. Let's first listen to President Trump and the white Republicans who is supporting the Donald Trump's efforts of sending the National Guards to the city of Memphis.
At the request of Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee, who's standing with us, as you know, I'm signing a presidential memorandum to establish the Memphis Task Force.
So there it is, President Trump officially signing off on deploying National Guard troops to Memphis. You can see Tennessee Senators Marsha Blackburn, Bill Hagerty, and Governor Bill Lee standing behind him. Now, the Memphis Safe Task Force enlists over a dozen agencies to work with local law enforcement on the streets of Memphis. Here's what those Tennessee leaders who were present in that moment said after Trump signed the memorandum.
Thank you for your commitment for federal resources to the great city of Memphis. And it is a great city, and it has a great history and a great legacy. And we are very hopeful and excited about the prospect of moving that city forward. I've been in office 7 years. I'm tired of crime holding the great city of Memphis back.
I want to say a thank you to Director Patel because he had promised that he would come into Memphis. We've had Operation Viper there this summer. There have been over 500 arrests. There are over 100 indictments. And Memphis had the best stats they have had in years this past August.
And this is an issue that's plagued Memphis since I was a boy, Mr. President. And it's time that we addressed it, and I appreciate your leadership allowing us to do that. And the team that you've assembled here is going to help us deliver the most fundamental responsibility of our government, and that's public safety. This shouldn't be a partisan issue.
Law enforcement has rarely been meant for safety for Black America. You see, from the slave patrols to Jim Crow policing, from COINTELPRO to mass incarceration, the expansion of law enforcement has consistently meant surveillance, suppression, and systematic harm, not safety for Black communities. The data is staggering. You see, Black America make up 13% of the U.S. population. However, yet we account for 37% of the American jail population. Imagine this. 48% of people serving life sentences in America are Black. Black Americans are arrested at twice the rate of white Americans. You see, even in traffic stops, studies show racial bias persists with Black drivers searched more often despite lower rates of contraband discovery. This isn't accidental, it's structure. You see, the Memphis Safe Task Force, a familiar pattern. You see, the Memphis Safe Task Force launched under President Trump floods the city with federal agents and National Guard troops under the banner of law and order. But this isn't new. It's a modern echo of past federal crackdown that claimed to fight crime, but disproportionately target black neighborhoods. You see, ICE involvement raises fears of racial profiling and immigration raids. You see, National Guard displacement sidesteps Tennessee constitutional requirement for legislative approval. You see, checkpoints and traffic stops are already increasing, reviving tactics that historically criminalize poverty and black mobility. You see, this is not about safety, it's about control. It's about Donald Trump gaining more federal power. You see, law and order is only political theater. You see, law and order has long been a political dog whistle. From Nixon to Reagan to Trump, it's been used to justify militarized policing, mass incarceration, and the erosion of civil liberties, especially for black Americans. You see, the Memphis Task Force is not a public safety initiative. It's a federal power grab dressed in tactical gear. It's a campaign strategy masquerading as a crime prevention. It's a direct threat to black autonomy, dignity, and constitutional rights. Dr. Martin Luther King said, "Silence is betrayal." You see, Memphis Mayor Paul Young's capitulation to MAGA and the moral crisis is a moral crisis in black leadership. You see, Dr. Martin Luther King once declared, quote, "Cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expediency asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? But consciousness asks the question, is it right?" There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor politic nor popular, but one must make it because one's conscience tells one that it is right. And the time is now. It is a moment when American democracy is under siege, when the free speech is threatened, black achievement is being erased, and white supremacy is being rebranded as law and order. Memphis needs more courage instead of a photo op. You see, Mayor Paul Young, the first black mayor of Memphis in the post-George Floyd era, stood silently behind Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, who praised Donald J. Trump and announced the deployment of National Guard troops to Memphis. Mayor Young did not request the troops, but he did not oppose them either. He offered cooperation, he offered silence, and doing so, he offered betrayal. You see, the betrayal is not abstract, it is visible in the image of Mayor Paul Young's flanked by law enforcement and MAGA-aligned officials. It is an audible in his refusal to denounce the Trump agenda that seeks to dismantle DEI, criminalize protests, and roll back civil rights. It is felt in the streets of Memphis, where the Free 901 protests rose in defiance, marching from juvenile court to the city hall, demanding investment in communities, not militarization. You see, Memphis did not stay silent. The Memphis City Council, led by members Jerry Green, Pearl Walker, and J.B. Smiley, held a press conference and introduced a resolution to reject the National Guard's deployment and authorize legal action. You see, Tommy Sawyer called the federal state task force a threat to democracy and a consolidation of authoritarian power. Representative Justin Pearson declared, "We don't need military occupation, we need poverty eradication." Yet, Black Memphis Mayor Paul Young stood apart. His silence was not neutrality, it was complicity. His cooperation was not diplomacy, it was capitulation. You see, in this moment, Black Memphis Mayor Paul Young became a vehicle for the MAGA agenda. He became the paradigm of Black capitulation, a modern-day good Negro who, like those who in the time of Jim Crow worked within the white power structure to maintain order rather than challenge injustice. His actions are antithetical to Dr. King's legacy and to the spirit of Memphis, the city where Dr. King gave his life for the rights to protect for rights. You see, this is not about politics, it's about principle. It's about whether Black leadership would stand with conscience and fold under pressure.
Somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest for rights.